Okay, so it's been about 5.5 months since I've gotten back from Rythmia, and I am going to try my best to explain everything that's happened since I've been back. It's been a lot. So I will just jump right into it. So when I first got back, I was on a high. I think most people who leave Rythmia are on a high. And I came back and I had to deal with life. And one of my biggest stressors in my life is my mom. And right after I got back, like 3 days after, my son got sick with the flu, and I needed my mom's help. And it was a really stressful and frustrating situation. And I immediately was like, this Rythmia, it didn't fix me. It didn't fix me. I still have to deal with this. My reaction's not any better. I just like, this is just my life. I'm resigned to this kind of life, and that's it. It's just the way it's going to happen. It's just the way it's going to be. And one of the things that Paula, who is one of the teachers at Rythmia, that she said that was one of the most impactful to me is the people who trigger you the most are your biggest spiritual teachers. And I was just like, I don't know what my mother is here to teach me other than, frustration and, just constant guilt and shame. And like, I just didn't understand what she was here to teach me. So I'm sure, like a lot of people, I went into Rythmia thinking that it was going to fix me. It was going to fix all of my coping mechanisms that aren't healthy. It was going to help me fix my relationships. It was just going to I was just going to be love and light when I left, and nobody was going to get under my skin. That's what I thought. And after my experience, I had a really, really powerful experience. So I just thought for sure. But I've come to learn and understand that ayahuasca does not fix you. It shines a light on your problems, and the awareness is what helps you overcome them. So after Rythmia, or after that encounter with my mom, the first week I got back, I went into a really low, and I'm not a depressive person. I'm more like even keel, like not too, I don't emote much. And but after this, after like understanding that my responses to my mom were kind of the same, and I also had a big falling out with my ex-husband, and I just thought, I just went into a low, like, what else can I do? I have been in recovery from alcohol at that point for about 1.5 years. And I have been working on myself tirelessly, and I thought this Rythmia thing, ayahuasca, was gonna help me come full circle. And then when I thought that it didn't, I became just down. And so after a couple weeks of this, it just got too uncomfortable, like it always does, before you make a big change. And I was watching this documentary on Netflix called Heal, and they showed this Reiki healer doing tapping on this woman, and they were able to get a lot of progress with her, understanding like a root cause of why she was the way she was. And I was just like, maybe I'll just go to a Reiki. Maybe something will come out, and maybe I'll be able to, understand where this comes from and move on. And so I Googled online for Reiki healers in the Phoenix area, and I found one, and I was really drawn to her, and she had really great reviews. And so I went to my first Reiki appointment, and not really knowing what to expect. I thought she was going to be tapping me and something was going to pop up, and then I was going to be, well, she's an intuitive Reiki healer, and what she did was she taught, our first session, we did not talk at all. I just kind of laid down on her table and she played some sounding bowls, which were, it was my first experience with something like that. But as soon as she started playing these bowls, I could feel like my body, like electricity running through my body. It was crazy. I was like, well, this is weird. And so she does this, and then she starts laying her hands on me, in different parts of my body. And like at some points my feet would go numb, and then she would be up at my head, and then my head would go numb. And then I would think she'd still be by like my shoulders, but then I'd kind of like peek up a little bit and she'd be by my feet. And it was just really, really crazy. And so she finished, and she's intuitive, like I said, so she was able to like communicate with my spirit guides. And there was a lot of stuff that she told me that there's no way she could have known. I mean, we didn't talk at all before that. So, but one of the things, this is what started everything moving in the right direction. I have had body shame forever. Elementary school, I mean, like most girls, it starts. But the area that I've hated the most about myself has always been my stomach. And we had talked about a couple other things, and she said eventually, or right at the end, she was like, okay, let's talk about the weight. And I was like, are you in my head? Because before there, like it's just always a source of something I need to change about myself. No matter what weight I am, it's always, you can be better. So she said, the weight in your stomach is really heavy. And she was like, I would suggest that instead of saying that I need to lose this, I need to lose that, I need to do this to be like that, you kind of ask when you meditate, ask your spirit guides or say, thank you for protecting me, because she's like, all that fat is energy, and it's just there to protect you. And she said, so the next time you meditate, ask your spirit guides, or tell them, thank you for protecting me, but I no longer need you anymore. And she's like, and it'll go to somebody else who needs it. And I'm like, who would need this fat? And she said, well, another child who needs to protect themselves emotionally. And I was like, oh my God. And I just started bawling. So this was the first. Okay, so then after this, I really started getting into meditating. I sat down and I was like, of course, I'm going to say, get rid of my belly fat. Like, this has been the thing, but it's become so much bigger than that now. I have, since that time, I have really gotten into meditating. Like, it's something that I do every day, and it's something I look forward to doing because I've been getting so many answers from meditating. And, I mean, so many. One of the things in my ayahuasca experience that I wasn't really clear on was this this showing of a school teacher, and it kept showing a car that getting smaller, and I didn't know what he did. And when I came back, I was like, what did he do to me? I'm trying to figure, did he say something to me? Like, what happened? And so one day I meditated and I said, tell me what I need to know. Or show me what I need to know. And and it kept like showing me little sequences of something being here, but moving there. And it kept, and I'd like shake my head. I'm like, I don't understand what that means. And it would show me again. It was like, it's here, but now it's there. And then finally I was like, show me in a way that I can understand what I'm supposed to know. And, just like a flash, across my eye, it was this girl that was in my 4th grade class with this teacher who came up in my ayahuasca. And as soon as I saw this girl, I knew exactly what it meant. And it was a girl. The girl was picked to be in the gifted class, and because she was picked to go to a different class, the gifted class, in part of our class, she got taken away. And I remember she would come back from these classes and I would just like stare at her like, she's special. She's special. She gets to go to the gifted class. And it was clear to me that that's where my unworthiness started, that I'm not special, I'm not worthy. And after this realization, I was just sobbing, shaking, sobbing. It was like releasing all of this energy that I had been holding on to. It was for decades, you know. 4th grade is what, I don't know, 10? So 3 decades. So it was just and you know, and every other instance that I put on top of that story has just, my whole life I've felt unworthy, not good enough, not special. Who am I, you know? So that was a really big aha. I've had a couple nights where I have woken up with, I'm still not sure, I have woken up a couple times with my son still being shown as what my purpose is. And I'm not, and that's fine. Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, is being a mom my purpose? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. I just feel like there's something bigger than being a mom. I think I would have my own, but I don't know. I mean, I love it. He's great. But one of the nights that I woke up, I had came to the realization with my relationship with my mother that she is here to teach me that to learn how to love and nurture. And because I wasn't given that from her, that was my soul's, that is what I am here to learn how to love and nurture. And that was very helpful in letting me let go of resentments towards her. I've had a lot, just why wasn't she motherly? Why wasn't she nurturing? Why haven't, you know, like, there's no tenderness, so I've had a lot of resentments. And understanding that with my son, I'm able to learn how to do that, because that was just like a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders, especially learning how to let go of the resentment that I have towards her. Some other big ones, meditation has been one of my biggest tools so far, and the Reiki. I've gone to see her 4 times since I've been back from Rythmia, and that has been a huge tool for me. I just really, really love it. I can always feel my energy moving. I've done meditations and I've worked up my chakras to release energy or release blocks. And it was funny, after my first Reiki appointment, my throat was on fire. And so I sent a message to my Reiki healer and I was like, my throat is like, it's like on fire. I can barely swallow. And she was just like, that was like a huge energy block for you. And that's so true, because I'm so codependent. I don't speak my truth a lot. And I'm learning how to set boundaries and be authentic since then. Because for me, the understanding that all we are is energy has been so helpful. Just knowing that if there's a part of my life that isn't working, then something is blocked. And I've seen it, I put it into practice time and time again, that if, through meditation, that if I'm struggling with something, I know that something has to come up and be released, to be removed and open up those energy flows. And Reiki has been a huge part in that. There's been so many other things, there's so much. One of the biggest revelation recently came to me. I did a meditation, and I asked, what is the next right step for me? And I didn't get anything during the meditation, but I woke up in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just got this. It was just like, I'm surrounded by too much old energy. And I was laying on my stomach, and my whole body got this warm, electric, super intense feeling. It is so hard for me to explain. It was just like, it was a whole body flush. And I was like, because I was all by myself. And then the next thought I had was, the old energy, I have to clean out my old stuff, because that old energy isn't allowing for new energy to come in. Again, a whole body flush of electricity. And it was so intense that I remember I said to myself, don't get scared. Just stay here. Don't get scared. And after it was done, like that feeling went away, I was just shaking. My hands, I was just shaking. I was a leaf. I was like, what the heck? So this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I tried to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. It was intense. And I went to, I was just like, all right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to start cleaning out my closet. And I started cleaning it and purging like all of the stuff. And I don't hold on to stuff. So I was like, when it first happened, I was like, I don't really have anything. But then once I started cleaning, I was like, oh yeah, I had a lot of stuff. Anything, like I had clothes there from like my honeymoon. I had clothes, just so much stuff that I didn't use, that I didn't need. There was this laundry basket in my closet that I never used, but I set stuff on top of, but it had bad memories associated with my marriage. There was a lot of clothes associated with my marriage. There was just a lot of old stuff. I had some stuff of my sister who passed away. I had some of her stuff that I needed to clear and get rid of. And each time I'd go to the kitchen to like grab a new bag or throw something away, I kept walking past my couch. And my couch is where I spent most of my time drinking. And every time I'd walk past it, I'd be like, I have to get rid of that couch. I have to get rid of that couch. And it was also the couch that we had when I was married, and my marriage was not a good one. How could it be? I mean, I was so unhealthy. And so so the next day I go to the furniture store, put in an order and find a couch that I want. So I'm sleeping the next night and I'm in my bed and I get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was just this knowing that I had to get rid of my bed, that this bed had all of the energy of all of my old relationships. So I was like, no, but I like my bedroom set. I really like it. And I didn't want to get rid of it. And then it was, again, nothing new is going to come in until you get rid of the old. So the next day I went to the furniture store. I got a new bed, a new couch, and a new kitchen table. Everything associated with negative energies from my marriage. And so, yeah, we'll see. But the knowing, the feeling like I know I'm on the right path. So today, I went down to the Social Security office and I'm going back to my maiden name. I've been divorced for almost 4 years and I'm finally going to do it. But I just know that that is the next step to helping me move on to a new relationship, because it's been, like I said, almost 4 years since I've been divorced and I haven't been in a real relationship since. Yeah, it's been a lot of big changes since Rythmia. And I guess if somebody were to tell me or ask me, like, what do you expect during ayahuasca? Like, is it going to fix everything? Because you see these documentaries, if you want to see, you see people come back and they're like, all I do is want to eat healthy now. Everything in my life is great. I'm a new person. And you kind of want that experience too, because hello, we all want a quick fix. But like I said earlier, the ayahuasca for me just shone a light on the issues that I had, and then now it's up to me to make the steps to change it. But I tell you, I've had so many knowings and visualizations through meditation. Since I have started asking questions with intention before I start meditation, that I have been able to release and move on from so many traits of myself that have been holding me back. For example, before one meditation, I asked, what are my blocks to love? And it just showed me 3 memories of instances with men who were violent in my childhood that I didn't think about, I didn't know about, or I didn't remember. I said, what is my block to happiness? And it showed me that when I was in elementary school, a young girl who was a couple years older than me, she was walking home from school one day and she got hit by a car and she became like terribly brain damaged and wheelchair bound. And she was the older sister of one of my good friends, and I would go over there and I just remember staring at her, and the knowing that came with that memory was that this is where you stop believing that good things would last. So it has been like so eye-opening, but one of the best things, I was reading this book called Women, Food, and God, and in it she describes a scene from a movie where the girl wants to come back into a body. I can't remember the name of the movie, but she wants to come back into a body just so she can feel the warmth of another person's lips on her skin. And I was like, like really experiencing the human experience, because this isn't like forever. Like, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start paying attention to how I feel about things. So like the next day I had a massage, and I'm like, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to enjoy this person touching me, and I'm going to enjoy the massage. And everybody's like, you talk during massages? And I was like, well, yeah, I don't want them to think I'm boring. Like, this is my codependency. So I vowed to stay silent through the massage, and it was like one of the best massages I'd ever had. I was like, oh my God, like I can really feel how good that feels. So the next day I was like, I want to feel what it feels like when I'm laughing with my son. And we were laughing together, and it was, I got this warm sensation all over my chest. And it was like the first time that I had felt love. And I could just cry thinking about it. It was so beautiful, and it's so great because I feel love everywhere now. Whereas before, I don't know what love is. I didn't know. So it's been a lot of huge changes, but it's been a lot of work, a lot of deep work. I'm going to do ayahuasca again in July here in Phoenix. I wish I could go back to Rythmia, but I just bought all this new furniture. And Rythmia is pretty expensive, but I would go 4 times a year if I could. Because it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I mean, the way Rythmia has set me up to this point in my spiritual journey, I couldn't have done it without Rythmia. It just blew everything up. So yeah, it has been, so anyway, so I'm going to be doing ayahuasca again in July here in Phoenix. It's going to be 2-night ceremony. And I think I'm ready to, I know I'm being led in the direction of a spiritual based career. I'm just trying to figure out what the next step is. But I know that everything that I've done up until this point to get to what that answer is had to be done before I can start it. I had to be whole, you know. I had to clear out old energy. I had to learn how to feel love. And I had to, release a lot. I had to understand myself more. And it's less than 6 months since Rythmia, but I just feel like a completely different person. And I'm really, really excited about what's to come because it just keeps getting better and I keep feeling lighter. So I'm ready. If I have a really good experience or, something comes out of my July, which I'm sure it will, I will do another video. But if anybody has any hesitation of doing ayahuasca, whether it be Rythmia or somewhere else, my only advice would be, number one, don't expect that it's going to fix everything. It is a lot of work. And number two, go in with no expectations. Rythmia has those 3 intentions: show me who I've become, merge me with my soul, and heal my heart. And I thought those were great. They really worked for me. But if you just don't even know the next step, one of my favorite things to ask in meditation, and which I think I'm going to do in my next ayahuasca ceremony, is to just say, show me what I need to see. Show me what I need to know. Because a lot of times what you think you need to know is not exactly what is the next step. There's steps before that question can be answered. So that's my update. New person. Literally back to reclaiming my old self, I should say. I hope this was helpful to some people, and thanks for listening.